How are you doing?
Doing great. Oh, thank you for the nice welcome home last night to Alaskans who were there in the freezing cold at the airport, and it was a warm welcome. It was great.
Holy smokes, was it cold?
I know.
I thought it was, it was so funny as I got home and I turned on the news to watch it. Because I'm a freak like that. I like to watch what I was just at, just to make sure it really happened. And, you were out there for a good 40 minutes talking to people. You spent like 20 minutes with the crowd talking, and then you went over and you were very kind to the press and talked with them. But I got to be honest with you, before I forget, did it feel good to be able just to talk to the press?
Oh, yes, it did. I felt like, come on, you guys, here's my cell phone numbers again. Give me a call. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to Alaskans through you. It's liberating. It's the way it's supposed to be in elected office, where you're talking to the people through the press. And yeah, it was good.
I thought it was, you said a couple of things that really, I think, that struck me as it being so gospel truth. They asked, basically, what did you find out about, is there anything about, this campaign you found out? And it was how brutal and manipulative the press can be and how incredibly vicious they can be and basically how they can just turn their backs on the opportunity to seek the truth.
Well, yeah, and my concern about that, of course, is that one of the cornerstones of our democracy is our press and the objectivity that they're supposed to represent so that Americans know all the facts of who, what, where, when, and why so that they can make good decisions, and that results in good election outcomes also, fair election outcomes. So my concern just is that there's going to be an erosion of credibility with mainstream media if the public believes that they cannot trust that they're getting objective information sent their way via the airwaves and print.
Was there ever a point during this campaign where I guess your frustrations were so high where you just felt like, you know what, this was a mistake?
No, never, because of who John McCain is and my admiration for him and my respect for him. I knew that all along we were on the right road and sent the right message about the challenges that America's facing and how important it is that we meet those challenges with someone who is trustworthy and courageous and experienced, and that is John McCain. The right ideas on getting the economy back on the right track, a strong pro-growth, pro-private sector agenda that he has, and then, in fighting the terrorists, strategies that will win there, and energy independence, all those things that I knew we were on the right path with. So, no, some of the pettiness of the internal workings of the campaign, which boggle my mind still,
give us an example of what you're talking about.
Well, just, not they considering it going rogue if I said, I'd like to call the reporters in Alaska. These are the people whom I'm accountable to every single day is the people I'm serving in Alaska. I'm going to make a couple calls here, and then just having some pushback on that. But that got frustrating because there just was a little bit of a disconnect there between some in the campaign and what I knew was my responsibility, and that was, making sure that Alaskans knew we're sending that pro-Alaska message across the U.S., which ultimately will be great for our state, and it has been great for our state. A little bit of frustration there.
I got to tell you, I talking with your father, and I honestly believe, and I will believe until the day I die, that I think the McCain administration really mishandled you from the get-go. I think, and he felt that, he said that at the rally, he just wants you to be able to, cut her loose. Let her be Sarah. And you know what the thing is being Sarah has worked really well for you. And the fact that and I know, Sarah, I know that they kept you away from doing the things that you wanted to do, and that had to just kill you.
Well, I am wired to be kind of independent there in knowing, my values, my convictions, my beliefs, and having a lot of confidence that give me an opportunity to articulate these things and let the public judge from there then what it is that I truly stand for and how I can contribute. So a little bit of frustration there, but I loved, that my dad sort of summarized it all. I think it was before the debate. He said, I think it was on CNN or something, and some folks didn't appreciate that he had been talking to them even, but he said, geez, let Sarah be Sarah. And a couple of the staffers who had said, let Palin be Palin, one of them got fired. And
Really?
Yeah, but you know what? All that internal workings, truly, it was beyond me. It was, okay, you guys do your thing in the way that you strategize. There not only were not enough hours in the day for me to argue the strategy and some of the logistics of the campaign, truly, that the schedule was so extremely packed, there was no time to meddle in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to just trust that to the best of my ability, I was going to be able to seize every opportunity that I could to speak with as many Americans as I could. But it was tough logistically. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you could just pick out one moment where, looking back after it was done, you thought to yourself, what the hell were you people thinking? Which one was it?
Oh, my gosh.
Because I know mine specifically that sticks out in my head, where I was just shaking my head going, who the hell thought that was a good idea?
Which one are you thinking of?
Katie Couric. Who in the McCain administration thought that's one of the first individuals we should grant? Because you know something? If they would have come to me, mm-hmm. I could have given you a short list of national, anchors.
Here's the way it works, though, in these high-level type campaigns. It's kind of a brokerage of power situation that goes on there, and who gets the first interview, and it's way beyond me the way that
of course it is.
That works.
You never would have picked Katie Couric.
I'm not sure how any of that works, but anyway. At the end of the day, though, mm-hmm. the voters having spoken, saying, look, we want change, and obviously there was going to be change.
Right.
John McCain was all about change mm-hmm. also, and having to buck some of the problems in the party and fight the problems in the party. He was going to usher in change also, but the voters have spoken and said, no, this is the kind of change we want, and heading in a different direction. And, okay, so be it. Now is the time. Okay, close that chapter regarding some of the problems in the campaign, and now what can I do and what can John McCain do in order to help unite this country and move forward? Because we have tremendous challenges, especially on the national security front and obviously the economic front too. We've got to work together and come together here in Congress. They've got to get it together in a nonpartisan and bipartisan effort in order to meet these challenges. They're huge.
Talking with Governor Sarah Palin. It's good to have you back home. Okay, let's talk speculation. Boy, is it fun. Speculation is with Senator Ted Stevens. That has a lot to do with your future. Should Ted mm-hmm. Stevens end up defeating Mark Begich with all the absentee ballots coming in, and then he gets another trial, which he's going to get, and he is found guilty, Ted Stevens has, at least from my knowledge, said he'll step down. Mm-hmm. If a retrial convicts him and he's found guilty of these felonies, the 7 counts that are against him, and should he step down, that seat is then vacated. Is it not is it 90 days?
I don't know if it is that long. There's still interpretations of. Remember, we have two different interpretations of what the law is that voters passed as a result of Frank Murkowski appointing his own daughter to
right.
the seat.
Remember, we changed that. Yeah.
Right. So a couple different interpretations still here, and the AG's still looking into that, and we will find out soon how legally the transition of power would work there with a temporary appointment and then a special election, because Alaska's not going to go without representation there in the Senate. So,
well, some would say even with Ted Stevens in there, we're going to be going without representation because his power is going to be stripped.
Well, according to a couple senators, U.S. senators whom I've spoken with, they said that, with the 2/3 vote that's needed to expel a senator, they're going to easily get the 2/3 vote.
You think they will?
Well, that's according to a couple senators whom I've spoken with.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe things change there. But suffice it to say, it's looking more likely than not that there will be a change in the U.S. Senate mm-hmm. in terms of the representation from Alaska.
Right. Now, should that happen, are you going to make you can't appoint yourself. You're not allowed to appoint, are you?
Well, this is where the interpretations are a little bit different. With knowing that we cannot go without representation in Alaska, mm-hmm. In the Senate, one would say, okay, what the voters had meant in their vote was mm-hmm. a temporary appointment until right. the special election can get together and have the permanent replacement there. So if it is, say, a 30-day appointment, of course, the speculation, the rumor is that I would appoint myself.
Right.
Well, no. How absolutely presumptuous, arrogant, selfish would that be?
Right.
And here I was one of the biggest critics of Governor Murkowski for the epitome of nepotism manifested by he appointing his own daughter. Now, that, in a lot of respects, has worked out because Lisa came back and she defended her seat there in the Senate via normal election.
Right.
So that was a healthy way to do it. But me being one of the biggest critics of that initial process, though, chosen by Murkowski, I would be a hypocrite then to turn around and, appoint one of my own kids, which was a joke.
Piper's ready.
Yeah, she was ready to go, and she'd shake things up. She'd be a blast in there. But to consider appointing myself, I think that is that's even worse.
Well, yeah, but some people would say it's almost crazy to appoint somebody and then 60 days run against them.
Well, there's a couple things to be said, though, for having just a placeholder in there for the 30 days. And then, hey, it's a free-for-all. Let Alaskans decide without anyone having an advantage over anyone else in a candidacy. Get a couple people in there running and debating, fighting it out, duking it out. Let Alaskans decide without an advantage given one way or the other.
So is it fair to say there's a chance that should this all shake out, I know all the stars got to align and the planets got to spin in the right direction, that you would appoint somebody that you know just wants to sit there, keep the seat warm until an election takes place, and then they're going to move aside, and then it'll be you and Mark Begich battling out for that Senate seat?
I don't know. That's even presumptuous also to go that far, but it is certainly a possibility there of that kind of strategy being considered, of having a placeholder in there and then again allowing Alaskans to just decide without an advantage given to even a 30-day incumbent, which they would have an advantage.
All right, 2012. Boy, have you heard that number enough.
Heard that number. Saw the T-shirt.
Yeah. Depending, obviously, on how Barack Obama does in his first 4 years, and it's kind of a wait and see, and I think we all hope he does well, because, if he does well, the country does well. But should he not, would you consider running for the President of the United States?
Sounds like it's a long way away.
Oh, it's not. It'll be here.
Long way.
It'll be here before you know it. You
know what? If ever I were to run for vice president or for president, we would do things so much differently that it would be an unconventional type of run, just like I did for governor also, where truly across the nation you would need a grassroots effort, not having the big wig lobbyists with the reputations that they have, being the ones controlling the purse strings and controlling the all of the strategy. And it would be so unconventional that it would have to be, because that's the way we are up here in Alaska. People who live here are uniquely unconventional, that I'm trying to imagine how in the world it would even work, because we would not be ones as a candidate to just go with the flow and embrace the status quo of the way national elections work. I don't think it's a real healthy place for our country to be with those who are kind of controlling some of these campaigns and their media friends. We've got to get away from that. And because I'm so committed to not embracing the status quo and doing things differently, doing things better, I just don't know if America would be ready for such a change, because you'd have to start that change 2 years from now. That's pretty soon.
Well, I think obviously you've learned that if you're going to succeed, Governor Palin, it's going to be because you're going to be yourself. And I think the McCain camp, I think they screwed up with you. I really do. I think they didn't let you be Sarah. And let me tell you what some frustration is. Starting last night, early this morning, is what I hear is that in a failed campaign, they look then for a scapegoat. They look for better start maybe throwing somebody under the bus. I talked to John McCain about this yesterday. John McCain and we do have great respect for each other. I swear to God, there's never been any kind of rift between the two of us. He is an honorable man. I love him. And, I wish that elections were all about valor and merit alone, but that's not for us to question now. I have nothing but good things to say about John McCain. He and I speaking about this last night, about this potential throw somebody under the bus scenario. He's warned me too. You ignore all that stuff that perhaps is coming. But I heard some examples of what a couple of campaign people, evidently, though they are anonymous, have said, and it's flippin' bizarre and not true. And I just think, come on, you guys, let us
one thing that you learn in sports, Bob, of course, is you learn to win gracefully and you lose gracefully and graciously. Okay, we lost. Come on, guys, let's move forward. Let us do what we can to support this new administration. We must. Otherwise, heaven forbid, disunity, division in our country at this point is really the last thing that we need. We can totally disagree with Barack Obama on a lot of positions and try to get him to see the light, especially on energy independence and some of these other things that are just paramount for our country's future. But let us not start pointing fingers at one another within the campaign and, griping and moaning about who did what and all that. So hearing some of the examples this morning, I'm like, oh, man, whoever is this anonymous source giving false information, false allegations, they don't get it. They don't understand. You lose graciously. You unite. You do all that you can to move this country forward at a time like this. Don't be petty. Don't be small. Don't be bitter. Get in the...
State your name. Even this little show in this beautiful little city, we would never give anyone the time of day if they wanted to come on here anonymously and bash anybody. How in the hell these national networks? I'm watching Keith Olbermann, quoting this anonymous source as if it was gospel truth, and then spending 15 minutes on it. Anybody can say anything.
These anonymous sources or source given specific examples of things like, she didn't know that Africa was a continent, not a country. What? Says who? She met staffers at the door wrapped in a towel. What? Who? When? Where? That brings me back to, again, my disheartened opinion right now and feeling towards the press is, come on, you guys, we have to be able to believe you, media reporters. We have to be able to believe you, so that this cornerstone of our democracy can be strengthened, and then we can know when to call out our elected officials, when to question policies that are being implemented that potentially could hurt our country. The media is the mouthpiece. They're kind of the intercessory person or entity between elected officials and the electorate. We need you, media, to be fair, objective, truthful. Otherwise, geez, that is an erosion of a democratic value, this freedom of the press that cannot be exploited or abused. We're going to be in a world of hurt if we cannot believe the media. And how can we believe the media if they're going to go with anonymous sources, bitter, false allegations that, you don't have a defense even if they're going with anonymous sources. You can't counter it because you don't have all the information. You have no idea what they're talking about.
I tell you what, Governor, I have an idea. I want to try something that could be probably monumental in the future of this state. But it's going to have to wait for just a second. I could put you on hold. I just want to take a break, but I have an idea. And this is one of my good ones. This is not going to get you in trouble. I promise. I promise this won't be all over the internet, and I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to help the state immeasurably if you give me an opportunity to do that.
All right. Can't wait to hear it.
Just trust me. Hang on a second. All right. Listen, trust me on this one. If this works, you can look to this morning on this show at making the state prosper faster than it ever could have before. It's coming up next on the Bob Mark Show. Hang on. Hello, everybody. It's the Bob Mark Show. It's 7:46 in the morning. I want you to just listen. On November 6th, 2008 at 7:46 in the morning, the Bob Mark Show did whatever they could to make this state better. Because we love this state, and I don't care whether you like us or hate us. You cannot ever argue the fact that we don't love Alaska. Love Alaska. And want this state to just prosper. Everybody. I want everyone to do well. So I got Governor Sarah Palin. She's over there on that line, and I'm going to make a phone call to somebody that you could argue hasn't exactly been the best of friends. And no, it ain't Lyda Green. Because Lyda would never answer. No, let's call Hollis French and see if we can't just put these two together and just stop it all right now and get the state moving forward. Of course, if he doesn't answer, none of this will matter.
I'm watching Today's Show right now, supposedly about this big spending spree I went on.
Oh, yeah.
I went shopping once. None of these clothes are even mine.
Hollis?
Hello?
Hello, I'm looking for Hollis.
Just one moment.
Thank you so much. This is history.
Hello?
Hollis French.
Speaking.
Hey, it's Bob from the Bob and Mark Show. How are you?
How are you?
I'm fine. We are live on the radio.
Good morning.
I want to mend everything. I want to fix it right now in a quick 2-minute phone call. Somebody would like to say hi to you. Governor?
Good morning, Hollis. How are you?
Oh, Governor, very well. What about you?
I'm doing just fine. Hey, I know we only have a couple of minutes here. Just want to, through this, I guess, mediator, Bob.
Yes.
On the K-Well show.
Yes.
Hollis, we have got to be working together here for the great things that are in store for Alaska. One thing that I learned more so than anything else on this campaign trail across our great nation is that Americans are looking to Alaska to lead on energy policy, energy independence that we need for this great country. It's a matter of national security and economic prosperity. People are expecting great things from our state, and I look forward to working with you and our other lawmakers on, uniting and doing all that we can to progress this great state as it contributes to our great country.
Governor, that's very kind and gracious of you to call. We've agreed on many, many issues over the years. We've worked well together on issues, oil tax reform, ethics reform, things of that nature, and I look forward to doing that in the future. And I just want to thank you very much for calling. I think that's very big-hearted of you, and it's typical of you. So thanks for doing that, and have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in Juneau.
If I could really quickly, I just want to say and I believe I speak for all Alaskans. What's done is done. That chapter is now shut. Let's roll up our sleeves. We really, really want this state to prosper. Whether it's a Democratic idea or a Republican idea, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we're all Alaskans, and we just want you guys to go to work, and we'll support you. We will back you. Let's go to work. Let bygones be bygones, and let's have some fun, and let's get going.
Well, absolutely. I'm with you there, and I would say to Senator French also, I'm sure that he agrees with this, that under this great North Star, as every other state is looking at Alaska at this time, let's show them that we can do it right up here. We can be ethical, fair, bold, independent, and get it together, leading the rest of the country also in a lot of areas that Alaska should be producing, contributing under the great North Star. Let's show them how to do it.
No, that's right. We've still got to actually build a gas pipeline.
Right, right.
And we've got to, reduce the number of sex assaults that happen in the state. We've got to graduate more kids from high school. And so, I think it's a wonderful call, and I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day, and hope to see you soon, Senator.
You're on the neighborhood. You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you. See? That's the way it should be.
This is the way it's going to be.
Thank
you, Bob.
That is wonderful. I'm going to cry. That's a big...
No, that is the way it is, and I'm sincere. As the eyes of the nation continue to be on Alaska, let's show them how to do it right. Let us lead by this great North Star underneath this. Let's be fair and free and kind and bold and tough and productive. That is us. That is Alaska. Let's do things right up here, and let's get going.
God, you're awesome.
You are awesome.
I just love you. Welcome home.
Thank you. It's so good to be home. And, man, stepping off that plane and breathing this air, I'm just like, thank you, God. We are home.
I love you.
Thanks for taking Piper's call.
Yeah.
And appreciate you very much. God bless you, and God bless this great state, the greatest state in the nation.
Yay. You're the best. You're the best. Welcome home.
Bye-bye.
Bye. How about that? Well, good. Sarah and Hollis, they can do it. We can all do it. Let's be happy together.
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold you tight.
We'll be right back.
So happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, and you say you belong to me, and ease my mind.